Here's a crazy story. The Texas Supreme Court is going to hear arguments over whether Christian parents of homeschooled children have to follow basic education standards, or whether if you are doing Christian homeschooling, you can opt out of the state's education standards. There is a particular family here, the family of Texas couple Michael and Laura McIntyre, who homeschool their 9 children in a motorcycle shop where the kids were doing very little in terms of schoolwork other than playing instruments and singing songs, according to witnesses. And one witness overheard a child say, "There's really no point in doing actual schoolwork because, quote, they are going to be raptured," as reported by the Associated Press. The family got on the radar of school officials when the oldest daughter ran away and tried to enroll in school. Think about that for a second, okay? Most kids want to stay home from school. One of the kids here ran away from home to try to go to school. That's how bad the situation is. At least one kid of the 9 was aware of the disaster. A lower court ruled against them, and now the Texas Supreme Court is going to decide whether, even if you are doing religious homeschooling, which, I mean, it's a disgusting term that we even have to distinguish regular homeschooling from Christian homeschooling, whether you still have to abide by the state's educational standards. This has to be child abuse. I mean, think about, this is why the state has to have the ability to protect children. We know there is not going to be a rapture. The idea that you don't really have to learn stuff because we're all going to be raptured to heaven or to hell or who knows where soon anyway is not a valid reason to not educate children. These kids someday are going to have to buy their food. Some kids these days are going to have to pay rent or pay a mortgage. The parents are setting them up for failure, to be unproductive members of society. And this reminds me of when I interviewed this guy named Mike McHugh. This is an older interview. It's on our YouTube channel. He is an advocate of Christian homeschooling. And I said to him, does it really make sense? Are we really setting kids up for success when we're homeschooling them based on the stories of a guy who was born to a virgin, died, and went to heaven? And he said that he found my question offensive. My question was offensive to him. And the question could not be further from offensive. The question is a very real question about how we are setting these children up to fail. And one of these 9 girls in this particular family apparently realized that this didn't make any sense. I don't know if we can say that about the other 8. And I hope that the Texas Supreme Court rules that no, religion does not allow you another opt-out, which is you don't have to educate your kids in a way that's connected to the real world. You must do that. If you are choosing to homeschool, then there are just some basic educational requirements that have to be met.